County. This is Brant coming at you with the Saturday Man Show. Of course, you just heard in the intro featuring special interviews with celebrities, local heroes, and much, much more. Manly wisdom and free stuff, along with resources, all can be found on the website, www.saturdaymanshow.com. That's www.saturdaymanshow.com. Now, for our first broadcast today, wow, it's 2015. Where did 2014 go? But it's going to be a great year, I can tell already. And my very first guest is a celebrity in my mind. It's someone that I met when I first moved here to Polk County. Very loved young man, very talented writer, photographer. He may not know it, but I think that he's got a great radio voice too. He's got his own theme song, and you're going to hear that right after I give his name. Welcome to the show, Andy Philpot.
Brant, it's good to see you, my man, and Happy New Year to you. I appreciate you having me on, and it's an honor. 35 years I've waited to have a theme song.
Hey, I know, man. Yeah, all right. Well, as you just heard, listening folks there, you heard the final countdown. Now, who did that song, Andy?
Europe. To me, their greatest hit, and if you buy their greatest hits album, you might find 2 or 3 more songs you recognize, but you can't beat the final countdown.
As we're sitting here, Andy, you're wearing a Star Wars shirt.
Yes, sir.
Now, I'm wearing this kind of cool, kung fu cowboy shirt.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not sure what you'd call it.
Well, I'm sure everybody at home can see this right now.
Yeah, that's right. It's kind of rustic, manly.
Very manly.
Well, thank you. And we're also sporting beards.
Yes, I wish everybody could see this right now.
It looks really good.
It looks good on you.
Thanks, man.
I appreciate that.
I appreciate that.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Now, whether or not the ladies agree, I don't know.
Hey, my wife, Christy loves the beard.
Yeah.
That's why I got it, man.
Well,
otherwise I'd be smooth shaven.
Keep on keeping on. There,
I know. Keep the faith.
Yes, sir. That was a high five, by the way, for those of you at home.
Well, we're really excited about this show. Now, Andy, the purpose of this show, people think, man, the Man Show, what is that?
Right.
And on first glance or first glance of the website, of course, you can go to facebook.com/Saturday Man Show.
All right, of course.
And see all that's going on. But, at first hearing of the title or seeing the logo, you assume that it's a bunch of guys being, growling, egotistical men.
Right. You get guys together, and then my wife says that we lose 10 to 15 years of maturity. Now, that may be the case right now, and we'll let the listeners figure that out.
We'll let that figure out.
Yeah, but guys getting together, do we lose competence? Do we lose IQ? I don't think so.
Yeah, I think you just grow. It's like the Spartans locking shields.
Absolutely.
More credibility, more manliness.
Yes.
Yeah. Who doesn't need more testosterone?
Guys a little bit.
Yeah, guys feed off each other. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? We're gonna have fun with these series. And of course, when you go to www.saturdaymanshow.com, you're gonna see the types of interviews we're going to have, the types of resources that we have. We also have buttons on that website that's really going to address the mind, the body, and the soul of man. People say, Brant, why are you doing this?
Right.
Well, I'm glad you asked her, Andy. I'm going to tell you.
Yes, you read my mind.
Tell you what I did. Well, but my background is in broadcasting and music, and also a lot of speaking. A lot of that has had to do with men. Men in this country sometimes struggle with what it means to be a man. Now, our greatest generation, they didn't struggle with manhood. You saw what they did, how they sacrificed their lives. They fought for our freedoms. Mm-hmm. They always deserve our respects. And so on the Man Show, you're going to hear a pro-America, pro-patriotic, pro-veteran, pro-faith, pro-family, and pro-freedom theme, no matter what we do, Andy. But, at the end of the day, in today's world, often when I ask a man, what does it mean to be a man, I get a blank stare.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is?
Some guys may not know the true definition of what it is to be a man.
Right.
They're just going through the motions. And they may, whether it be lack of exposure from their environment or the upbringing, unfortunately, they may not have a true definition of what their role is.
Well, and there's a lot of confusion. Mm-hmm. The media says you have to be sweet and sensitive, and yet it's supposed to be a warrior in the middle of the night.
Yeah, got to be.
When there's when there's a bump in the night. Mm-hmm. But the reality is that men in America, we got to regain that, and we're going to regain that. I tell people a lot when they ask me about why are you doing this for men? Is this a business? No, it's not a business. Right. I'm doing this because I can.
Yes.
Because I want to encourage the men, and no matter what town I live in, Andy, I think that we should try to be a blessing there. One of my main motivations for interviewing you is, number one, everyone knows who you are. You know, your work with the Mina Star,
Yes.
you know, and I was blown away, very impressed by you. You know, as young as you are, but you have a very mature mindset. You have a lot of character. When I go into a new area, I ask questions, and people all over Polk County, they love Andy Philpot.
Wow. Yes,
You're,
sir.
you're homegrown.
Yes, sir.
You know, a lot of times when you know graduates leave a town
Yes.
for jobs elsewhere,
Mm-hmm.
and you may not have a lot of people moving in, starting new businesses,
Mm-hmm.
that town can become a ghost town.
Absolutely.
But it's always inspiring when you have people that either come back
Mm-hmm.
after having some success, like my wife Christy,
Yes.
or guys like you that have remained here
Mm-hmm.
and you started your career and conduct your career
Mm-hmm.
here in Polk County. That's one of the main reasons why I always want to provide positive influences for
Yes.
our young men that are
Yes.
listening, but also for people in general in this area that you know what, you don't have to leave Mina or Cove or
Mm-hmm.
DeQueen, or you don't have to leave Polk County,
Right.
but you can actually invest in this community.
Yes.
And for those of us who are listening on the internet, for those of us who are listening to us in parts of Oklahoma or Texas, the same goes there too. You know, we always want to elevate people in the community and to be a blessing. My desire is I would love to see men being encouraged in
Mm-hmm.
this area. Number one, because a strong man makes a strong marriage,
Yes.
makes a strong family,
Mm-hmm.
makes a strong community, makes strong towns, strong cities, strong states, strong America.
Absolutely.
And it starts with the men, which is no secret why
Right.
manhood has been under such attack by the enemies of our country. And that's a different show.
Yes.
But going back to what a man is and getting a blank stare, you know what? A real man rejects passivity.
Mm-hmm.
A real man accepts responsibility.
Absolutely.
You know, Andy, I was in my later 20s when, you know, I had done so many different things, you know, radio, talk show, and author, and music industry, music artist. I was a child piano prodigy.
Mm-hmm.
People around here call me Brant the Piano Man.
Yep.
I love that.
Yep.
You know, I'm honored by that. Then other work in television and reporting and such. Done a lot of different things, but it wasn't until my later 20s that I actually got a book from my adopted dad called Raising a Modern Day Knight. And in it, it gave the code of knighthood, Andy, which was live pure, speak truth, right wrong, and follow the king. That's an ancient code of knighthood. And as I began to live that, my life and my successes took off. You know, and when you're successful, you appreciate seeing the success of others. You know, Zig Ziglar said that successful people make others successful. So what I started to do at the age of 16, but really after learning the code of knighthood in the later 20s, is start to promote and elevate other people.
Yes.
You shouldn't be jealous of people's success. You should rejoice with other people's success. When it comes to men, you know, it's so funny. We call this the man show, but I guarantee you we'll have just as much or more women listeners as men, because when a man is a good man, a woman will love being a woman.
Yes, sir.
Say it again. When a man is a good man, a woman will love being a woman. Don't get me wrong when I tell you this, but you know what? If you want to know a happy woman that's married to a man that tries to be a modern day knight, ask my wife. She's very happy. She's very successful. Now, yes, she's the most brilliant, beautiful thing I've ever met in my life. Most fascinating woman, and we love each other so much in our marriage. We're strong, but it starts with a man's heart.
Yes.
If you change a man's heart, you change the nation.
Yes.
And that's the reason for the Saturday Man Show.
Absolutely.
You know, again, if you go to www.saturdaymanshow.com, you're going to find resources. You're going to find free stuff. Throughout this show, if you go to the website, SaturdayManShow.com, during this broadcast, there's going to be something on that front page that if you call the restaurant on the front page, you get a free meal tonight.
Beautiful.
Isn't that cool?
Nice.
If you're the first caller,
Okay.
you will get a free meal.
No procrastination.
No
here.
procrastination here. So, you know, right out of the gate,
Yeah.
man, SaturdayManShow.com, look for the code, look for the restaurant, make that phone call, and you've got a date tonight.
You mentioned free stuff.
Free stuff,
Early
too.
on.
Yeah,
Here we
yeah.
go.
I know. And talking about free stuff, you know what?
Yeah.
Right now, Andy,
Yes,
as we get into your interview,
Yes.
okay, and I'm very excited about you, we're going to let the studio audience hear a song my wife and I, Christy, wrote in 10 minutes about Mina. And if you go to the SaturdayManShow.com, you'll get a free download of the Mina song. That's what they call it around here.
Nice.
They play it a lot on KENA. We're honored by that. It's called the Mina song. Take a listen right now.
Take me down to Arkansas, down through the Washitans, far from the big city where the girls are so pretty and Mina.
And that was the Mina song.
Nice. Yes, sir.
Actually, Mark here at KNA inspired that.
Okay.
Yeah, he told a story on Facebook about this guy coming around with a weird Texas accent. I'm from Oklahoma, by the way.
Okay.
But, he had a funny story. He thought I was from Texas, and he was right. I moved here for my lovely bride, and so excited to be here and meet people like you and the good people of Polk County. We have business elsewhere, but I tell you what, we love this community, which is why we're doing this. Well, Andy, I tell you,
yes,
when I first came to town, I always like to talk to people in the media because that's my background.
Yeah.
And I met you at the Mina Star.
Mm-hmm.
I was surprised how young you were, or how young you look, and I got excited about that.
Yeah.
I thought, man, this is awesome, And again, I'm a connector, and I love to like on this show. We want to provide positive role models for young men. Do respect our elders,
yes,
our greatest generation. We respect our vets. And to me, everyone's a celebrity. You're going to hear interviews with famous people. In my mind, you're a celebrity, Andy. You're from here. Now, tell me exactly, where were you born?
I was born right here in Mean, Arkansas, my friend. Born and raised, born up on the hill, which is now, I believe, the Polk County office complex, where you can go to the quorum court meetings once a month. But that's where I was born, and spent the first 19 and a half years of my life right here in Mean, Arkansas.
So now, what got you interested in journalism?
Well, taking you back, and every time I go in the schools, and before I actually got into teaching, which I'm doing now, I would tell them my story. And it began as a second grade student, and having the access to do a weekly journal.
Right.
And we'd have free writing time on Friday afternoons. I remember second grade, I looked forward to Friday afternoons to write in our journals, whatever we wanted to. Fiction, nonfiction, what was going on in your life, or heck, make up a story if you want to. And I fell in love with that. And I realized as a second grader that I loved to write. And I can tell you, I took that passion for writing from second grade all the way up through my school years. And I went K through 12 here at Mina schools. Great education. And of course, like any student, any young person, male, female, you're going to dabble in different interests. And that's what I tell the kids. I said, we're all different. If we were wired all the same, we'd be robots. You need to have different interests. So I know not everybody is going to love to write.
Right.
But those who do, run with it. If you're talented in other capacities, go for it. And I always tell people, practicing what you like to do and what you want to do is never a waste of time. Even if you decide you go off and do something else, the time you invested practicing something is time that was never wasted, because you have gotten better at something, you have gained more knowledge towards something, and you have a better understanding of something. And I can tell you that while I love to write, between the grades and the ages of, I say third grade through about eighth grade, I thought I wanted to be a cartoonist. Fell in love with Garfield. Fell in love with cartoons, and man, I learned to draw every cartoon character that I knew how. But the trouble was, I did not make up my own cartoon characters. I mastered Garfield and Odie and the Simpsons and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and I could draw and I could make mock, posters and flyers and comic strips and everything. But I realized going into ninth grade, I had never spent time making my own cartoon characters.
Right.
And so I slowly veered away from that, but all the time I spent practicing drawing was not a waste of time. I still do it now. My kids love it. The students, every now and then I'll draw for them.
Yeah.
And I still love that because it's kind of back on the back burner. I still love to draw. It's fun. It was a hobby at one time. But I realized coming ninth grade, I still love to write. That never went away.
Right.
And so my love for writing carried me on. And I will tell you that I was a shy kid. I got along with everybody. I had a lot of friends. And being born and raised in Mina, eventually you get to know everybody.
Right.
And it was between my 10th and 11th grade year that my life changed. And I can tell you that teachers make such a difference in the lives of students, because my 10th grade English teacher, Mr. Randy Lindsay, while I was shy and I wasn't extremely outgoing, he saw something in me. He saw apparently a writing talent, a writing ability. And as he got ready to select 10 students to be on the journalism staff as juniors in high school, I was one of the 10 of roughly 120, 130 kids in my class.
Right.
And him selecting me for the journalism staff changed my life.
Wow.
It really did, because it showed that somebody saw something in me that I love to do.
Wow.
And so it gave me that avenue, that path to go into high school journalism, which I did for 2 years. I got to write. I got to take pictures. And then when I went on to college, first I went to Rich Mountain Community College. I got my associate's degree, knocked it out in about a year and a half. And then I realized it's time to decide what I want to do with my future.
Wow.
Now, sure, everybody wants to make some money.
Oh, yeah.
Who doesn't?
Who doesn't?
Exactly. But I realized that I wanted to be able to enjoy what I did for the rest of my life.
Right.
And so when I moved to Conway in January of 1999 and decided I was going to major in journalism, and I wanted to go and I wanted to enjoy my college years, and I wanted to be able to get better at something I love to do.
Right.
Because if I could find something I love to do, and I've always heard the secret is, if you love what you do, it doesn't feel like a job.
Exactly.
And I can tell you that is so true. At 35 years old, I can tell you that if you love what you do, it does not feel like a job. You look forward to getting up in the morning, going to what you do.
Well, because if you're doing something that's out of your so-called calling,
yes,
and callings are real,
yes,
it takes energy away from you.
Yes.
But when you're doing what you love,
yes,
you're feeding your passions. It gives you energy.
Absolutely.
Man, there's nothing like it. Being able to wake up in the morning and God, I get to do this. It's
right.
Your get tos are no longer have tos.
Exactly.
When you're following your dreams, and that's what you did when you went to college.
Absolutely. And so 2.5 years, I finished up my journalism degree, and I can tell you that being in my strong area, field that I loved, I met so many wonderful people with similar interests with me.
Wow.
And you feed off one another. You grow and you build. And that's something that I've realized now that we do in a community.
Right.
Is that we feed off each other and we encourage one another.
Sure.
And we build each other up. And where I may or you may have a weakness, we can build each other up.
Right.
And strengthen one another to be an amazing team.
That's right.
And as college students in the journalism and the writing and communication fields, we built each other up.
Right.
And then it came time for graduation. It's farewell. I'm going off on this path, and you're on this one. Best wishes to you. And I will tell you that I did look around Central Arkansas a little bit, but I came right back home. My family was here. I love Mena. And I can tell you right now, as people are listening to this, that there are folks getting ready to graduate high school.
Right.
And they cannot wait to leave wherever they're from
right
now.
Right.
They cannot wait to see new things. They think the best opportunities are waiting for them in City X or City Z, Y, it doesn't matter.
That's true.
And they think that it's going to be just the best thing in the world. Well, let me tell you what. Everybody needs to go off and have their adventures. Mm-hmm. Go see something different if you feel like you need to.
Right.
But guess what? Home is waiting on you.
Oh, that's true.
Right here.
I tell you what, here in Polk County, Andy, I mean, there's times we go all over and several different cities. Christian and I, we enjoy promoting these huge concerts, for at-risk kids. And I'll tell you this real quick, over in West Texas, they were among the top in statistics of teen pregnancy, teen suicide, teen drug addiction, and then we come home and find out that the same problems are here. There's not an oil boom here. Poverty in some places does make a difference. Not everyone is struggling with poverty around here. There are people who are, but it's not a money thing. It's a desperation thing. Yeah. But you know what? The people of Polk County, what we've experienced, just incredible people here. And again, we're exposed to different cities quite a bit. But it's like Dorothy says in Wizard of Oz, there's no place like home.
That's right.
And it's like you come back. I do hear, though, that people do come back.
Yes.
They do come back. But what you're saying is follow your passions.
Absolutely.
Have your adventure, but you don't necessarily have to leave for a long time.
Mm-mm.
And you found what works.
Absolutely.
Working here.
That's right.
In Polk County.
That's right. And I'll tell you that, I came home. I was excited to come back home. Like I said, my family's here, and when your family's here, you have roots here.
Yeah.
So many great memories, and
right.
I knew that Mena was waiting with open arms. Polk County was waiting, and
wow.
so I was able to take now being having a bachelor's degree,
yeah.
was able to bring it back home
uh-huh.
and take the things I had learned in college and give them back to Mena, and that's what I love to do because and everything happens for a reason, Brandon.
Right.
We know that, and every path eventually goes where it's supposed to.
Oh yeah.
And
there's no accidents.
Absolutely.
There's no chance meetings. There's no coincidences.
No coincidences. And I have learned that more in my life as you go along. And you get to where you look for these things that you used to think were chance meetings.
Uh-huh.
No, it's all part of the script.
It is.
It's a bigger script than we understand.
Let me put a subliminal message in your mind,
yes.
Andy. You've got a great voice for radio.
Thank you.
And again, it thrilled me that a young man, accomplished and very loved in the community, invests his time in the people here at Polk County. And of course, moved here a couple years ago, and man, there wasn't anywhere that I didn't see you. Just about talk about a hard. They say James Brown was the hardest working man in show business. Ow! I feel good. But the reality is, that Andy Philpot was the hardest working man in newspaper. I've been around a little bit. I tell you what, I was always impressed and still impressed. With how passionate you are about getting the story. That's true journalism. getting the story, and I have to say that of all the journalism I've seen around here, I've appreciated yours. With the Mina Star more than any, very classy, getting both sides of the story.
Thank you.
That's true journalism.
Absolutely,
I appreciate that.
I appreciate you, and I will tell you that again, it was a right fit at the right time. After I moved back from Conway, I did have an 8-year career at Walmart, and I will tell you that even though I wasn't necessarily using my journalism degree, I was building my people skills. See, I was being prepared for the next step of my life, which was be good to others, be kind to others. And the thing was that as I worked my way up through Walmart, I became a better manager, a better communicator.
Right.
And the thing is that I got to where when the opportunity was there for the Mina Star in the spring of 2008, it was the perfect fit at the perfect time. I was a better editor of the Mina Star in 2008 than I would have been in 2001 when I graduated with a journalism degree. And so again, these life experiences build you up and prepare you for the next thing. And so I went in knowing what Mina wanted and probably needed. And,
That's so good.
And I walked in, and the Mina Star has been around since 1896, at exactly the same amount of time that Mina has been a city.
Right.
The Mina Star actually is 1 day older than the city of Mina. I always found that interesting. August 18th, 1896, first issue of the Mina Star. August 19th, 1896, Mina becomes a city. And so I love that history, and it was an honor for me to have written for the newspaper that was as old, 1 day older actually, than the city of Mina.
Wow.
And so I went in with passion and pride, and I realized what an honor it was that there were decades of editors before me.
Yeah.
And there was too many shoes to fill. Well, I decided I've got to make my own shoes and make my own footpath.
And you did.
And I gave it my life for 6.5 years. Absolutely loved it. It was an honor.
Well, so where's the book? When are you writing your book?
You know, our life plays out, and the thing is I always tell my students, and I used to tell people with the paper, we're making a lifetime of memories 1 day at a time.
Right.
If only I had been writing them down, we would have the book. It would be a work in progress.
Oh, they'll come back to you, man.
Oh, yeah.
But now, do you mind if I ask, how old are you now?
I am 35. I'll be 36 in March.
Oh, my gosh. 35 years old.
Yes.
Buddy, I'm 45. Awesome. But you're 35. Man, you're way ahead of your time.
Well, opportunities and putting yourself out there. And I feel like when you're good to other people and you take a few chances and you cash in on opportunities when they come around, sky's the limit.
Well, I'm glad you say that, Andy. And again, you know, you're sharing the stage with some other interviews people will hear on the Saturday Man Show. Mm-hmm. You can hear interviews, people like Chuck Norris and Ted Nugent and other people like that. You know, celebrities, but at the end of the day, we're men, we're people.
Yeah, absolutely.
Unapologetically American, unapologetically men.
Absolutely. And did you realize Chuck Norris can slam a revolving door? Did you know that about him?
No.
Oh, fella, whenever you interview him, when you get him on, you got to ask him about it.
I heard Chuck Norris doesn't leave voicemails, he leaves warnings.
Absolutely. I've heard that as well.
I saw one the other day that it said that, and by the way, he's one of the nicest men you'll ever meet. You won't believe the height of this guy. He's shorter than what you would imagine. Talk about incredible, impeccable shape.
Yeah.
But one of the nicest guys. I met him in Dallas, and I had the weirdest temptation to say something to get him to hit me, you know. Yeah. So boom, hey, I was hit by Chuck Norris.
Were you hoping for the roundhouse kick?
I was hoping. Well, yeah. Well, yeah, it's kind of a double sword. If you get hit by Chuck Norris, you might die.
Absolutely.
But on the other hand, how many men can say, "Hey, I just got side clocked by Chuck Norris"?
Exactly. It's a great conversation piece. Everything. There's a story behind everything.
Get a picture of that for the grandkids.
Oh man, great. And the black eye and how it evolved.
Well, I know. I read one the other day that, and by the way, he thinks it's hilarious. I mean, he didn't start these jokes about himself. He thinks it's hilarious. You know, there was a time you Google Chuck Norris and it says Chuck Norris is Googling you. You know?
Yes.
You know, or he built the hospital that he was born in, you know, or drove his mother home. You know, but at the end of the day, though, he's an awesome man, and he's a man.
He is a man.
He's a man of faith. Mm-hmm. He's pro-America, pro-family, pro-rights, which is the whole theme of the Saturday Man Show. Mm-hmm. You know, we're doing this because we can. We're doing this because men need encouragement. Once again, you want to go to www.saturdaymanshow.com and just see all the things that are on there. It's a cool website. It looks good on a phone, too. Yeah. Easy to navigate. You'll also be able to access archives as we go along. Because the good thing about the Internet, one of the things is that you're not limited to a geographical area, but every time someone hears one of these broadcasts for the first time, even 10 years from now, it's still going to be new to them. And again, nothing like the spoken word. Andy, words are powerful.
Oh yeah.
That's people understand that. I've had a radio talk show in Tulsa, then television, global television, and the power of media, the power of words. But I don't know if you know this or not, but during the 70s, there's actually a movie about it. It's called What the Blank, literally blank.
Okay.
And they did an experiment. They took 2 tanks of water. This is real. It's verifiable. 2 tanks of water. Okay, they're trying to prove a point about vibrations and languages and such. And on 1 tank of water, they put sticky notes. They wrote words like, they really did this: Satan, evil, hate, anger, and they put it on 1 tank. Then they took sticky notes and put on the other tank, said love, God, thank you. I think even one of them said Jesus, believe it or not.
Yeah.
And they hired people to watch these, okay? And literally, without a doubt, scientifically, for some reason, and I think I know the reason why, but the tank that had the negative words written on it and read, they would read these, turned dark and murky. And the tank that they read thank you was the biggest one. But things like that, the water actually almost looked more crystal-like. It was beautiful. Yes. It was a phenomenon, okay? But you know what? Your body is made mostly of water. Yeah. Right. So the words that you speak, no matter what language, there's positive words and there's negative words. And it's like this cup of coffee. Let's imagine this being a glass of water. Yeah. And do you see it half full or half empty?
Well, it's got to go half full.
Well, of course, I would expect that from you. Right. And that they would say that you are an optimist.
Yes.
But if you see it half empty, you're a pessimist, right? And doesn't mean you're a bad person. No. But you know what? If it's half full, that's positive. Positive thoughts.
Yes.
Positive actions. Positive results, cause and effect. Positive life. If you walk out in front of a Mack truck, you don't have to believe in trucks to die. Sure. You do something stupid happens. Right. Cause and effect. But negative thoughts, negative action, negative results, negative life.
Absolutely.
And the stupid glass of water didn't change. The situation didn't change one bit. It's how you chose to look at the situation.
I'm glad you said that. That is something, as a teacher now, I have this benefit, I will say this privilege, to be able to obviously teach English to 9th graders and creative writing. And with creative writing, I'm not really teaching them. I'm just letting them loose. I'm just giving them a venue to write. And I have some very talented writers around there. But I'll tell you that I have the opportunity to share these life experiences. And what you just said is that we can't control necessarily all the circumstances around us. Right. But it's how we choose to react to them and respond.
Exactly.
And how we feel. That's what we have control over.
Right.
And that's the thing every day. And I heard something years ago, a man, just a positive guy, and he said, if you wake up in the morning and you tell yourself you're going to have a bad day, well, guess what? You're not going to be disappointed.
Right.
You go at it and you look at it that there may be some challenges we're going to have today and this year. This is 2015. We just flipped the calendar.
Right.
There will be challenges. I guarantee you that. There will be challenges and struggles and a little discouragement this year. Hopefully not a whole lot.
Right.
But the thing is that we know we are going to endure some of that. But guess what? It's how we handle it.
Exactly. And I'm going to have you back on too because I want to hear what's next coming in your life.
Yes,
but you know what? It all rings true, man. And everyone who's listening, if you sow a thought, it's old ancient Chinese proverb.
Yes.
It really is. If you sow a thought, you reap an action. If you sow an action, you reap a habit. If you sow a habit, you reap a character. And if you sow a character, you reap a destiny.
Yes.
I'll say it again. If you sow a thought, you reap an action. If you sow an action, you reap a habit. If you sow a habit, you reap a character. If you sow a character, you reap a destiny. And I can tell right now, Andy, you've got a great destiny ahead of you. I'm so happy to have you on the Saturday Man Show. And again, listeners, go to the www.saturdaymanshow.com. We're going to close with a good song that is also free for download on SaturdayManShow.com. Be inspired, men. Provide like a king, protect like a warrior, lead like a leader, and love like a lover, and you will have an amazing life. We'll talk to you next time on the Saturday Man Show.
Talk about God, say the Pledge of Allegiance. Find me a soldier, shake his hand. Gonna clean my gun and teach my children, the men and wives